but that was the law, and from that we had trouble in our first few years of operating because of what was going on. There was no management in the market. So in the end, basically we got our licence in accord with the law. I don't think a lot of the other places have, because they haven't needed to. There's a lot more waves around, and there's that five licence thing, but after 5 years there's allowed to be more than 5 licences, so that anyone can actually get a licence now who has a piece of land and an office in the Mentawais.
You've got it's 1,000 metres of land that you have, 1,000 metres of land that you have entitlement to.
1,000 metres from the boundary of the land.
Well, even then,
that's how it reads.
If that's how it reads, I mean, I haven't translated myself, but your resort here is more than 1,000 metres from the.
Yeah, it's just the bay, right? The bay.
The bay, yeah.
Mate, the thing is, I didn't write these laws.
Yeah, no.
You know,
I mean,
and if you read it, you go on to see that the facility that supports the resort, 250 metres. Okay, if you want to get tricky and play all the games, you know, it's the mooring buoys, it's the tower, it's all of that. All right, but for us, we don't.
Do you own the land that the towers are?
No, just a licence. So it's just a facility for the resort.
So you have a license. So it's not your land. You have a license for the land.
It's not land. It's on the reef. But we had to get a licence from the government to be allowed to build it as a facility supporting the resort, right? And it says in the licence basically that the resort buffer zone is 1,000 metres from the property, and also 250 metres from facilities that support the resort. Okay, so in Syllaboo, not outside of Syllaboo. So that's how it reads. I mean, you know, I think some resorts probably don't feel as though they needed to go that way because they've got other options. Here, there's only Syllaboo left, Greenbush around the corner, Macca's right if it's northerly. You know, some days we just don't have another break.
Obviously, I mean, I know you guys are going to Malacopas and Rags and.
Yeah, not very often though, Shane.
Yeah, but you are. The thing is, you are, and the thing is, I mean, what you got to understand from our point of view, we're getting a backlog of boats either side of the other side of the resort due to this thing. There's no free flow. And now with this whole booking system, I mean, I know a few guys obviously recently tried to pull their bookings off there because of the situation of how it's ruining our whole system. Yeah. But before that, the bookings were a month, 2 months in advance. I mean, I don't know anybody who can predict swells a month, 2 months in advance.
Well, actually,
so it means we're taking a gamble to book. And, you know, obviously, I guess, come out here, macaronis is high up on the list to surf.
Sure.
And if we start telling, I guess, obviously, sorry, we're not booked for today, it's going to put us out of business.
Yeah. You guys want a drink?
No, I'm not.
Looking in line with the weather. So the suggestion was that boats can only book 2 trips, and then after those 2 trips, then you can't book any other trip to allow other boats to book. So then it's only 2 trips ahead you can book. So then all the rest of the season's free. Now that would have been the better way to go in the beginning, but it wasn't thought of. You know, because we actually do need feedback from you guys. Because I'm not a boat operator anymore. You know, like we just said, because what it is, the licences we hold, we did an MOU with the village and gave those rights to the village. Because basically we can't go out there and say, you guys have to go or whatever. We're just an operator. But what we did was we got our licences and then we did an MOU with the village and said, okay, 2 moorings there, your responsibility, you do the maintenance and you manage them and you can make 600,000 reps a day. So that's why they do it, because it benefits them. So it benefits us, it benefits them. So if there's a way that... Yeah, well, you know...
Who gets the money for the moorings?
The village.
Wouldn't it be better for them if they had 5 or 6 boats here and they got more money? Otherwise, you're just taking money off them, really.
Well, I think
they're just getting less money now because less boats are coming and they're getting less money. It's pretty basic mathematics.
Yeah, if you look back in the past, what were boats paying in the past? 150, was it?
300.
Yeah, no, but in the past, before the moorings ever come about,
yeah, but
it was
still,
like 100,
I mean, it doesn't matter.
Some boats didn't
what
pay.
they were charging back then or what they're charging now, you're still taking money out off them.
Yeah.
And then it goes to where it goes to Tooljet, goes to wherever before it even comes back here, doesn't it?
No, back then it's just a donation. There's no law you have to give in.
No, but
now it goes into the village economy. It needs to.
Yeah. So they probably only see a fraction of it.
100% of the. We have to pay too if there's not a boat there. That's new this year. We used to give them 150, but now they want full payment from us if there's not a boat. So we said, all right, we'll pay as well. All right. So.
And I mean, and if there's boats, you don't pay anything.
If there's boats, we still pay them per head.
You pay them.
Because we have an MOU.
You pay them per day per head.
We give them 15,000 rupees a head. Plus, there's also other bits and pieces we've got to pay them all the time as well.
Sure you do.
I just think it'd be better for the village if anyone could come whenever they wanted, because then they'd be making a lot more money.
Well, I think like in the past, because there's never been anything set up between all the boats and how it works out here, like there's been all these different associations which are an absolute head, you know, and nothing was ever set up that benefited the locals. So now they've got this, they're like, well, why go back to that? Because it might work for a little while. If it's unregulated, then there's nothing again.
Well, they're regulating themselves with this, didn't you just say before?
Yeah, they're
you just
regulating.
gave them their thing and they can do it themselves. So if they can do it themselves, then why can't they just say, well, anyone can come then?
Well, they can if they want to, but it's up to you guys. If you want to change the system, you need to go to Tuapajet and propose to change the law, you know? That's what you've got to do, like, because for us, we're just an operator. We don't want to cop flack from people, like, saying we're doing the wrong thing, when to us, we're just abiding by the law and the licences we've got. Like, when I'm here and there's 2 boats, everyone gets on fine. Seriously, like, guys on the boats and the people at the camp, they really...
Everyone used to get on fine when there was 5 or 6 boats as well, you know?
Yeah, well, 5 or 6 boats in the camp, you know.
But you don't always have like a heap of people here either, you know.
Yeah, well, that's
and I think
there
everyone
won't be if
usually
there's 6
gets on
boats.
fine all the time, no matter where you go, you know.
Yeah, there won't be heaps of people here if there's 6 boats because no one want to come here, mate. You know, it's what the
Well,
government
it's like
wants.
all the other camps, you know. There's boats that go everywhere, and all the other camps seem to do all right.
Yeah. Hey, Darren, like, seriously, I don't make the rules. So, like, you guys...
You propose the rules to them.
You're bending
No, I
them and
didn't.
twisting
No,
them.
I didn't propose any rules.
It sounded like you said you made up
2002 it came in. I didn't even know about it until 2003,
So
like late 2003.
What rule is this? Is this the rule of
The PERTA 16. The PERTA 16
and then
rules.
what is this? What about the rule of the supporting wind? Is that part of?
That's in that PERTA 16.
Is that
So Rick Cameron brought all that in. He like proposed it with Un and Bungan and all those guys. They proposed
The
that.
other thing is, no one's been sent any legal papers, any legal documentation, anything legal with anything. It's just one little letter that's got nothing on it. It says
But
about
the laws are there. You can read
it. Like if you want to do that and you're trying to say you want to be fair to everyone, you're not explaining your situation fairly, and and you're getting like this. I mean, don't you think that if you'd put that out a lot sooner and way before this
I've sent it all out, Des. I've sent it all out. 2009,
we
we
haven't got anything like that, and it would have given a lot of the other operators and other people
What we did-
time to get a response and see what their legal rights are as well.
2010, mate, I sent a letter out to all of the boats, and I said, how about we put the moorings and give the moorings to the boat association? You guys look after it and manage it how you want. And we got no answer, so I sent it again, no answer, and I said, well, if you guys don't want to do it, all we can do is give it to the village. So that's what we had to do, because the boats just don't want to know about regulation. You know, and for us, like, it doesn't work for a camp, like, to have no regulation open slate of free
Work
for
for all the other camps, but
yeah, but it's a different situation, mate.
Really?
Well, I hear they're trying to do the same thing now. That's the problem, yeah.
because of you.
But
and
why would they do
I
that
know
if it works for
I
them?
know Benny and Freddie and the guys at Lancers, they're not going to do it.
Well, that's up to them.
And I know the guy from HT's blowing up, doesn't want people parking in the bay because it spoils his view now. I mean, like Joey said before, you know, he's starting to set a precedent which is going to ruin everything and ruin the reason why people come up here as well, you know. And everybody gets along when there's 5 or 6 boats, you know, it's a bit crowded, but that's just how it is, you know.
But you're on that side of the fence, completely different. Seriously. If you're on this side of the fence and you saw what goes on here when there's 6 boats, totally different story, mate.
Oh,
Very unhappy people, very unhappy guests, you know, so...
You
you guys can go around 30 different ways.
They know what they're doing when they
you get
come
2 days here, 2 days here, where it's packed and say, boys, it's pumping out there, bit crowded, but you're going to get waves. Alright? Then you go off and surf somewhere uncrowded. For us, it's every day, mate. Every single day.
no real legal claim. How can you claim a wave? It didn't work
We
in
don't
Fiji,
claim away.
mate.
Mate,
You know?
just read the laws, like, seriously, like, that's what it says. I didn't write them.
What happens like when boats get into trouble and want to come in here, you know? And then
At
they
night
get
time.
kicked
Yeah,
out
no
and stuff,
problem.
mate. Well, like there's been in 2010, we blew a motor and came in here, and the guys come out and tried to kick us out. I had to get them on the boat and show them the motor and say, look, we've blown a motor.
And they would have said stay, wouldn't they?
Yeah, well, they had no. Well, we weren't going. They had no choice.
Nusantara got kicked out with one engine, a cat running on one engine in bad weather. I mean, it's
When was that?
2 years ago.
Oh, okay.
I saw Kudalat.
Why not?
Kudalat. I was here that day. Kudalat got kicked out. It was this stormy
guys coming out saying we're going to come back, smash your boat up, and we're going to set fire to your boat, and we're going to do this to your boat. I mean, where's the legality in that? You know,
well, that's what
if anyone's going to take
the government, mate, we don't want that sort of thing going on either. But I mean, they need to give out, if they're going to be serious about it and write laws, they need to enforce them.
And then other days they regulate, other days they don't. You know, it just seems that when they can be bothered to get up and do it, you know, because I know the other year when we were here and we actually, you know, we're doing the right thing, and then, you know, some days they'd come in, some days they'd come out, you know, tell everyone to move, some days they wouldn't. Sometimes boats would come in the afternoons, sometimes, you know, like, if you're going to do it, but do it properly and do it legally, you know. And don't come out telling us that they're going to smash our boat.
Who's saying that?
Well, the crew, these guys out, they come out into the boat, or the villagers.